It's the Martini Shot with your host, Selena. Today's guest, Tammy Morris, vertical gymnast.
Welcome to the Martini Shot. I'm your host, Selena, and our guest today is the trailblazing pole dance mama, Tammy Morris. Welcome to the Martini Shot, Tammy.
Thank you for having me today.
So, you started, you have two dance studios now.
I do.
Tantra Fitness, and you teach the pole dancing.
I do.
And how did you get started on all that and start your business?
I was an exotic dancer. I was a dancer for 10 years.
Tiny one.
A tiny one, yes. A tiny one. All over the world. So everywhere from Greece to New York to London and Canada, all over the place.
Wow.
Which is, a whole story on its own. But anyway, we'll just kind of fast forward it. Then you can ask me for the tantalizing details later.
Okay.
Anyway, I quit. I always told myself I had a best before date. So I was like, I am not going to dance past 30 years old. That was my best before date. I don't need to tell you how old I am now. But anyway, I had reached my best before date. And I had some circumstances happen. We'll kind of get into that later. But I stopped dancing. And so I took a year off. And during that year, I went to the gym. I ran every day. And my body just was not the same as when I was dancing. So
that strength from that pole dancing is just amazing.
You're using your whole body weight.
Yes.
And not only are you using your whole body weight, you're dancing at the same time. So you're getting cardio, you're getting, it kept me flexible. It's just nothing compared to it. I heard that there were some classes going on in LA that were doing really well, some pole dancing classes, and I thought, you know what do I have to lose? So I opened a little studio on Granville Island, and it outgrew itself in 6 months. And
wow. And when was that? When did you open the first?
January 2005.
Okay, cool. Before that, when gals were getting into exotic dancing, where did they go to learn? Like, did you?
Well, it's so
did
funny
you have to apprentice or something? Apprentice with a stripper? Like, how did you learn before?
You don't have to be able to pole dance to be a stripper. You only have to have the willingness to take off your clothing.
Oh,
it's true. I mean, if you've gone to strip bars before, not every stripper does a pole move. It's
right.
It's really, a lot of them sometimes just hold onto the pole or slide down it or wiggle on it or undulate on it and take off their clothes. And I mean, that's what it's all about. You don't have to be able to do pole tricks in order to be a stripper.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's bigger, more impressive pole moves done within pole dancing studios today than you'll ever see at a gentleman's club.
Right. Okay, so my experience is mostly with movies and things like, what's that, Beverly Hills Cop, where they have the girls and they just sort of saunter around it.
Yeah,
but the athletic aspect of it, where you guys are
inverted.
You know what?
That aspect of it, that is more Cirque du Soleil. Oh. And I think that's where people kind of get it confused. People think pole dance and your instant reaction is stripper. So sometimes when people ask me what I do, I say I teach vertical gymnastics, or I say I teach gymnastics on a vertical bar. And you see people go, oh, wow, that's interesting. You know what I mean? And some people will get it after a little while, but some people don't. And they think, wow, that's a neat idea.
Well, I've seen some of your moves on them, and it's just amazing. And I can't even believe how you juggle everything in your life with the teaching of pole, running the studios.
Can't I?
And then your little darling, little precious baby named True.
I know.
She's so sweet. How old is she?
15 months.
15 months. She's just adorable. Sweetest baby ever.
Yes.
How do you do that? I mean, beyond busy.
I mean, you know what? I am working on a series of DVDs, of fitness DVDs. I'm hosting Miss Pole Dance Canada come September. I've got the 2 studios. I've got a little baby. I'm also a board member of PFIC, which is the Pole Fitness Instructor Commission.
Wow.
So looking at a governing body of pole fitness, just to make sure there's a level of standards and safety.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know how I do it actually. I'm not sure. No.
This is part of the segment of the show where you get to make me a martini. So, here at Bennifer, our manager Danny has created a signature drink for you called the Tantra.
Okay.
Now, these are the ingredients. She's mixed it together for you. So
Okay,
it's 2
perfect.
ounces of gin, 3/4 ounces of lemon, 1/2 ounce of cranberry syrup, and 1/2 ounce of root of polygonum syrup, which in Chinese is called fotai. This is a syrup that increases fertility, energy, and nourishes hair and teeth.
Increases fertility? Is that what you want?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Give it a try.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now.
Look at, I'm shaking it with this on. I'm not a drinker, so like.
Yes. No.
I'd say it goes like this.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
see?
you're rocking. Okay.
It's all coming back to me now.
Okay, and then it is candied rose petals and bird's eye chili. Wow. So this is the signature drink
That's
created
amazing.
for you by Danny of Bennifer called the Tantra. Okay, here we go.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh,
So good.
that is amazing. Okay, if anybody comes down to the Kiefer, you got to request that special because
What's
it's
it
not
called
on the
again?
menu.
The Tantra.
The Tantra.
Oh, it's called the Tantra.
In
For
honor
me.
of you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my producer Dre just sampled it for the fertility purposes. That's great, and I think about your journey and your path, and the front page tabloid
I knew that's what you were
issues. You knew I was gonna go there. You know, but seeing yourself on the front page of the National Enquirer, that must have been weird.
Well, I mean, it was disturbing because, I mean, I'll give you a little bit of example of what happened. I mean, the paparazzi were following them to the video store. They knew they were in town. The Bennifer was like one of the hottest things at the time.
I know.
And so when Ben Affleck came in, then I mean they were looking for the dirt. They had seen everything. They had known, they had watched them come in for lap dances. So I mean they basically had the whole story. And after we went to Christian Slater's house and partied and everything, so I mean they basically came up to me after the fact and said, well, you can have some input and we'll pay you for it. Or you can keep your mouth closed, because I refused to talk to them for the longest time.
Yeah.
They said you can keep your mouth closed and the story's going to run anyway.
Yeah.
So you be the choice. And I mean, when I kind of looked at it like that, I thought, okay, well, you know, maybe it's worth talking to them. So that was probably one of the most misleading things that they drew me in. Once they have you, once they have a name and a face to put to the story, oh, they use you for everything you're worth.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had to sign a contract. Once I signed that contract, I did not go back into work the next day. I left all my stuff there. I was in between moves. They took all my stuff into storage, and they had me on a plane to Hawaii within 24 hours of
The
signing
National
that.
Enquirer.
Yes,
The National Enquirer did all this
yes. And they had me
Wow.
on a plane to Hawaii within 24 hours.
because
I
they
mean,
wanted to be exclusive to the story.
I
They
was
didn't
their
want-
source.
Yes.
Oh, they didn't want anyone getting a hold of me. They
Wow.
didn't. And because they had highly exaggerated the story, they also didn't want me telling anybody that they had exaggerated the story and
Yeah.
that those details weren't true. And that's
Right.
not what I said.
So
And in that contract, it basically said that if I did talk to anybody else or did talk about the story to anyone else, including family or friends, they would take all the money back. And at that point, I'd already lost my job. As soon as that came out, I'd lost my job.
wow.
So I'd lost my job. I left my stuff, so thousands of dollars worth of costumes. They had me in a really tight spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk and lose everything and have no job and have nothing, or just kind of sit back and let the storm. But I lost friends over the whole thing, and
Yeah.
at the time I really thought it was a negative thing and it was really upsetting. But they would do things like they'd say, oh, do you think Ben Affleck will remember that night? And I'd say, yeah, of course he'll remember that night. And in the Enquirer, it would say, Tammy Moore said Ben Affleck had a night he will never forget. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God, the
seriously?
manipulation.
I mean, every single word, they just twist it and turn it. And
Yeah. And now here at Tantra Fitness, what kind of classes do you offer? I know I've attended a few.
Yes,
but
yes. Well, we offer everything from burlesque to Zumba to ball fit. We have belly fit. We have girlicious, which is like a pussycat doll style of dancing.
Fun.
We have exotic dance classes where we do then touch on that genre where girls can wear like stilettos, and girls love that too.
Tammy, thank you so much for coming to the Martini Shot.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me.
For the Martini Shot, this is Selena.